Good evening, my friend. Good evening, and welcome. Welcome to our evening, what would you call this? Our summit, as it were. Welcome, my friends. Look who is here. Look, before I say anything, just look. Look at this bevy. Look at this bevy, this cacophony of wonderful people. Wonderful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. My friends, I hope we're coming in clear and you're well. I hope everybody is standing by. We might have one of the best shows tonight ever. Because this is the one where you probably don't necessarily need to know a lot. All you have to do is just look. Just look at the picture, look at the photo, know a little bit about the rudimentary background information, and you will then see, wow. Tonight's subject, in part, is the one, the only, the inimitable, the ineffable, Laura Loomer. And we ask a very simple question. What the hell is the matter with her? But before we get into that, and also new information, new data, new everything. I mean, a lot of forensics and deep dives and the like. Before we get into that, this word from our sponsor. Last year, we talked about Alaska, a powerhouse of mineral wealth with a long track record of responsible development. Now it's back in focus with support from the Department of Defense and Department of Energy and the reopening of the Ambler Road project under President Trump. Momentum is building fast. Vizsla Copper, trading as VCUFF in the U.S. and VCU in Canada, has taken a major step forward. The company now owns 100% of the Palmer project, a high-grade asset believed to hold billions in in-ground value. It was even named by Alaska's governor in a memo to the White House as a priority for domestic critical minerals. And here is the headline. Washington just rolled out over $42 billion in support for critical minerals in early 2026 alone. We have seen this before. Similar backing sent other Alaska explorers up over 200%. Vizsla trades at a fraction of that value. Bottom line, America is rebuilding its mineral supply chain and domestic supply is winning. Big thanks to Vizsla Copper for making today's video possible. Indeed, my friend. By the way, programming note, just so that you know. Is that in Ybor City? Check it in. Excellent. First and foremost, Thursday we have, I just arranged, we're going to have Christine Fecketti on live. Friday we will have on the lovely and talented Sean Atwood. Have him on during the day because he's in the UK and I want to do him live. And then Saturday, I believe, we have the one and only Jimmy Dore. So we are looking at a trifecta. I will keep you posted. I will let you know. And there were others who were coming as well, and we're so glad because this has been such a wonderful, wonderful story. And by the way, people are still asking me, why are you still talking about this? And you know the particular problems I have with that one. But first and foremost, let me ask you a question. What the hell is the matter with Laura Loomer? Let me just start with you. And your insights are so good. Before we even get to any kind of deep-seated, I just, on so many levels, of all the people that are responsible for, how do I say this? Of all the people who are responsible for causing havoc, the last person the buzzsaw, why in the name of God would you ever seriously go after Candace Owens? What is the matter? What is the if you had to, and by the way, I know people can talk about looks. Looks are a tough thing. That's not what I want to talk about. Okay? This is, by the way, Chris, welcome. We got a new member there. I don't want to talk about looks. I really don't. I don't want to. It's not that, listen, sometimes they're horrible, but that's just, I want to talk more about substantive, if we could. Elise, by the way, says, Lionel, we love you and Lynn, thank you. I had a cocaine issue too, so did she. I'm clean 16 years. That is wonderful. Thank you. The question should be, what's not wrong with her? Now, by the way, it was interesting. I believe, let me explain something to you. I believe that when Candace brought up her own particular problems, the problems of Ms. Loomer, I don't think it was a matter of mocking her because she had problems or because she had instances of mental illness or problems. But you must understand who we're talking about. And you must understand what the source of the people that we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? It's not enough. It's not enough just that we're talking about everything. According to Candace, she can't own a firearm because of problems. There are videos. Have you seen the videos? Have you seen the videos? Have you? The videos have been the one of her. How do I? Did you see the one of some young man in a bar? How they recorded this, I have no idea. And it's putatively her. I believe it is. Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Did you see it? Who saw this? What were your reaction? If that was a man who did that? I never thought that was even possible. I never thought that was even, seriously, I never saw that as possible. I had heard about this. I've certainly have heard about men who were horribly involved in accosting women. But unless you see this, it was so sad, so desperate, so vicious. You can see it. Go to Milo. Just throwing herself at him. May I say something to you, one of these things? I am not, and I know maybe perhaps people do this, and I hope, and you may appreciate it, but I don't do this. I don't do this where I show clips and this one said this and Candace said this and this. I just don't, I don't do it. I want to talk to you. I'll refer you to them, but I just don't do that. It's not, I don't have time to clip and plus it's almost like this is their work. You know what I'm saying? This is their work, and I don't, it's, here it is, and here's this one. There are people, this is the most important thing in the world. There are people who take the cop videos, which I love very much. I love them immensely. The police videos of crazy people being arrested and Karens and the like. And what they do is they take their hard work, they put them on their site, and then they comment on somebody else's. And it's okay. I just can't see that. So I don't do that. Bill Parillo says, quite simply, you're deranged if you wish harm to someone's children. Pray for her. Pray for her. She's sick. But there is something which is very interesting. This reminds me very, very much of the following. Mrs. L today was in Washington. She is on her way back. I'll be picking her up. And she dealt with parents of children who lost their lives by virtue of influences on the internet. And the bullying. One in particular, this is the most important story. There was one today, she said, the bullying told this one young girl who wanted just to go to the her brother had been apparently self-harmed himself. And the kids at the school mocked her and laughed at her and told her to do it herself and told her if she would dare go to the prom, they would unalive her. This is demented. They were telling her, everybody hates you. You have no friends. You don't understand. They hate you. And this poor little girl. Who did she sound like? Who did she sound like? God doesn't love you. You're irredeemable. Do you understand this? You understand what I'm saying? Do you hear this? Do you hear? This is what alarms me so much. This is the demented part about what is written. Look, you can say all you want about. You heard somebody did something. Maybe she had some problems before. And by the way, I don't think it's very, very important to make how do I say this? You don't want to mock somebody who has had a substance abuse or a mental problem. You don't want to do that because sometimes people need all of the help they can get, and they should be lauded. And many of you great people yourself went through this incredible horror. But there's something that's scary, though, when somebody who says, yes, that's okay, but you got to ask yourself, are they okay? Does it not affect anything? Do you think, let me ask you very seriously, do you think for those who have been involved in, let's say, very, very serious, hard drugs, do you think it's affected you at all? Affected your brain? Affected the way you think? Affected the way you perceive things? Moon Goddess says it takes a very sick kind of evil to harm a child. Yes. And it takes a sick form of sadism. You are correct. This is what somebody told me. This is what somebody told me one time. Somebody who was involved in hard drugs and the like. And they said, there's one thing about Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy says, I was a heroin addict. And that is to be great. He is to be lauded. He is to be applauded. But if you're going to, let's say you were going to meetings, which are lifesavers for many, many people, you're worried about relapse, pressure. Also, you're worried about maybe the years that have affected how your brain is rewired. Do you think that perhaps maybe you might do something that might impede one's ability to do a job and to handle these kinds of pressures? This is something to consider. This is something to consider. Sometimes people are so they're hanging on. Certain addictions are different. Some people have an easier time recovering and getting sober than others. It's a very difficult thing. All I'm saying is, two people. One, there is apparently this affiliation with Israel, and number two, there's an affiliation with the president. What in the name of God is the president doing anywhere near her? Has Susie Wiles finally put an end? Read what she has to say. Just spend a little time. Listen to this. It is so vile. It is so vile. It is hate. It is consumed by hate. Have you ever seen The Stalker? Have you ever been involved with a stalker? Anybody? 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 Have you ever seen this before? Anybody in your family? You might have been one before. Do you know what that is? It is a focused connection which is so frightening. And what happens is these are not normal people. They become, how do I say this? They become unable. You become a possession, or whoever the object of this is becomes a kind of a possession. They are unable to focus on anything but this. They live in a world where they're saying, you are mine. I own you. Where people go outside and there's the stalker, there's the person. They'll put geotags on you and horrible. That, in a way, is what this is. It's this focus. and you're the one who thinks you're pretty, and you're the one you've got the husband and you've got the children and people admire you. Yeah, people don't make fun of you. I've been hearing this my whole life. I don't know what to do. It's tough being me. It's horrible being me. And how do I do this? Instead of, I'm not gonna make friends with people. I'm gonna go after people. That's how I show my love, because I don't know how to love. It doesn't do me any good. There's no reason to. I don't know how to show love. I don't know things like you talk about seduction. If I see somebody, I want them. I want their being, their body, their soul. Moon Goddess says, I got addicted to drugs at 14 in 85. Got clean 11 years ago. I never hurt anyone but myself. Wasn't a criminal. Was a functioning addict all my life. God bless you, Moon. God bless you for that. Freddie, thank you as well. Anybody who did this, anybody who has done this is wonderful. Wonderful. And also there's some other problems too. Mental illness. If you have mental illness, there's no rehab. There's no 90-day program. Maybe there's medication, maybe, but there's something very, very, very wrong. And the more that, see, this is the part that the last person in the world you want to around with is Candace. You know this, right? You know this. This is a woman who decided, or not decided, but she found every LLC, every business entity of Laurie Franz since day one. Since day one. She knows where people have lived. She knows about Fort Huachuca. She knows who was there. They know tail numbers of planes. They know everything. And you don't think, Laura, you don't think she can go after your history and all of the people that she has. Those, by the way, SPLC, that's good news, huh? We'll get to that in a moment. But all of those people out there who love her, who say, we'll do the research for you. Here you go. You're going to hear from exes. You're going to hear from people, and you're going to hear from folks you used to work with, and neighbors, and Milo. Milo has a sarcastic, a very incredibly. He's not to be trifled with. Very, very smart and very decisive, and you don't want him as your enemy. You don't want any of these people as your enemy. So what does she do? It doesn't matter. Her fixation, her hatred, her anger. She hates herself. That's the part. And it kills her. And how? Who was it? I forget who it was. Somebody said, the reason why President Trump, this is his problem, he loves people that fawn over him. You saw the way, you saw this. You saw the way she, the way this poor young man, I mean, it was scary. It sounded, you know what it sounded like in a weird way? It sounded like Harvey Weinstein. There was that one scene. Remember the scene where they were in the, it was a recording. Somebody came to his apartment or his hotel room, and she could hear him. And he says, please, don't leave. You know, let me look at it. You know, that guy, I'm exaggerating. But the point is, did you remember that scene? It was unbelievable. You couldn't believe what you were hearing. You couldn't believe it. I never heard anybody. I've never understood this. My God. Most of us have a tolerance of like 30 seconds that says, if you don't want to be with us, we don't want to be with you. There is nothing absolutely, there was nothing more, how do I say this? There's nothing more of a turnoff than somebody who doesn't want to be with you or who finds you distasteful. That's the last person. You want to get near. The slightest, most people. You say, well, same to you, buddy. I'm out of here. I don't need this. You're not the only one. What does it take when somebody, when they say no and you say yes, yes, yes? What does it say? Larry's jealousy is palpable, beyond unstable. Larry? Larry. May I ask? I'm sorry, am I stupid? Who is Larry? Am I stupid? I think I'm stupid. I must be stupid. I don't know who Larry is. But I know it's palpable. I guess. In any event, maybe you'll... Anyway. Oh, Laura is Larry? Ah. Is that what you called her? Laura is Larry. Is that a code? You kids with your codes. Why you? Now, here's the thing. And most people will say, I have met crazy people, and I know immediately, crazy people. I have such an allergy. The movie that I thought was one of the greatest ever was Fatal Attraction. Did you see that? Every man must see this. I will not be ignored, Dan. Alex Forrest. Remember her? Glenn Close. It was the scariest thing you have ever seen. The one who says, you're not going to leave me. You're mine. And it's not even you. Maybe it's just possessory. Maybe it's something. And you realize, what am I going to do? Remember Crimes and Misdemeanors. Do you remember that movie? Wonderful movie. Alan Alda. Remember Jerry Orbach? Jerry Orbach lived in the hood, by the way, right there on 54th Street. Right, he lived right in this in the hood, and his restaurant that was open forever finally closed it for all these years. Anyway, but he played the brother. Remember the brother who was kind of the hood, and it was Martin Landau was the ophthalmologist, and it was Angelica Houston, and she's picking up the phone. She was calling up, and hanging up, and he says, you can't do that. And she says, when are you going to leave your wife? Everybody's got to see this. Everybody's got to leave. Everybody's got to do it. These scenes where you have it's Network, William Holden, where he tells his wife, like a fool, tells his wife. And it was this nut, Faye Dunaway, who turns out to be a nut, and nobody, she can't, nobody will work with her. So, what is this? So that's that part. This is what this is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I want you. Who in the right? Ladies, may I ask you a question? If a man is married and you decide to have an affair with a married man, do you really think it's going anywhere? Do you think it's going anywhere? What is with... We're not talking about Laura Loomer. I know we're on a different subject, but it fascinates me. What is with this? What is with... Where does this come from? I don't understand something. Where does this come from? Where? Tell me. How can you possibly find yourself and say, he's for me? He told me he's going to leave his wife. What is... This is the oldest story. My wife doesn't understand me. What? Are you nuts? And by the way, a lot of these people are not homewreckers. A lot of times it's the man who's a homewrecker. He's the homewrecker. He's the one. What is going on? And that feeling of, oh my God. And this woman all of a sudden figures, I've got nothing to lose. Now you're making a fool out of me. Now you're making a fool out of me. Oh, they love to break. Oh, they love it. They love to break up a marriage. And you know what? That's the way these people are. They don't know they don't know boundaries. They don't know right and wrong and excess and nothing. They don't know anything. how President Trump, Susie Wiles, I heard somebody say, we got to get rid of her. And it's going to get worse and worse. And let me tell you what else is going to be bad. Wait until she gets caught. Now, I don't know if she was super Zionist, and I thought, okay, maybe she was part of an AIPAC thing. I don't know. That's what people seem to think. My girl my girl Ma says, hi, Lana. Remember the Lennon sisters? Their father, Billy, was killed by their crazy stalker. Very tragic. They are my cousin. I didn't know this. I remember Kathy, Peggy, was it Diane? Was the oldest one? I was watching them the other day. And don't forget the King sisters. Also, remember the one, my sister Sam, or the young girl who answered the phone, Bardo. Remember his name, Bardo, who used a private investigator to find where she lived. And you know who prosecuted that? Marsha Clark. Oh, these are very. Oh, and by the way, in this movie, Crimes and Misdemeanors, Woody Allen's phenomenal movie, wonderful movie. We were sitting around, and the question was, do you think it is wrong for, in this case, it was, do you think it's wrong for Martin Landau to have hired a hitman to basically take this woman out? And I said, much to the chagrin of some people, I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What do you mean, is it okay? Of course it's okay. This person's trying to ruin everything. Some people do not deserve to, you know what I mean? I hate to tell you the story with this stuff, but sometimes I always think, if you get a little too close, if you're going to ruin somebody's family, you better be expected to take what happens. You may meet the wrong person. This is weird. This is a very strange thing. I don't know who's at fault, but the thing is, it's stupid, and it happens all the time. And I don't understand why people. I don't get it. I don't get any of it. Emily says some love hurting others. They get kicks from it. Yes. And you know what also, Emily, and thank you. You know what also is important? Some love to attack you before you can attack them. And that is this very, very angry, sick girl. By the way, when I say girl, I don't know how old Larry is, but she's not that old. I've seen some pictures that I wouldn't recognize her, just in terms of all the transformational work that has been done. And also, listen to what happened. Listen to what she has said to other people. And look at what she says to Candace, which is what she is saying about herself. It is projection. Everything she says about Candace is ridiculous. Everybody hates you. No, they don't. God hates you. God hates you? God? Where did this come from? She's saying that about herself. It's projection. She is projecting onto Candace the way she views people hating her. You're irredeemable. You're hated. Everybody. Nobody likes you. Do you know what that's like? Think about this, Roman. Think about this. Think about this. You probably have no friends. You have apparently no, I don't know anything about relationships. It gets kind of sad. Larry, Larry's age is 32 years old. 32 years old. Can you believe this? 32? This much. What is she going to be at 40, 50? She still has time. She still has a chance. She wants she wants maybe a husband or something. Family. She can't get near family. By the way, Michael, thank you very much, Michael, Michele. Thank you. She's, she's doing her own thing, but I hope she would ever get near a child. But there's everybody. And there's Candace. Loved. Absolutely loved. At the pinnacle of success. Success like you cannot believe. Loved. I mean, and the worst part about it is that for her, Candace has an idea of, I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need the president. I don't need you. If you want to give me the bum's rush, fine. I don't need you. I don't need you. You know how confident, you know how that kills her? It must drive her crazy. What does that feel like? She understands that this woman's just, and here's the thing too, and you can tell this. There are people who absolutely love her. Emily says, absolutely it is projection, and it's really sad when you break it down. Loomer must be a miserable person. Very sad, very self-loathing, very hated, hateful. Do you know what it's like when nobody has ever I'm sorry. I got to stop myself. I'm getting carried away here. But do you know what it's like when probably, I don't know this is true, nobody's ever said you're attractive or handsome or whatever the relative compliment is pursuant to you. Do you know what that's like? Dear God. And every time, and people must think, oh, and you know how cruel. If you think Candace gets trolled, this one just, why? Because of how she looks. That's why I don't want to talk about it. She's just, it must be horrible. Because it's the easiest, it's low-hanging fruit. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take much. You know what I mean? But imagine that. And all your life, you're not going to be married. You're not going to get any of those things. And if it's true, her family and, oh my God. Candace told the story about she had to go to get a wisdom tooth or some kind of a procedure done. She had nobody to drive her. I mean, just, horrible. And for somebody to say, you're so, and by the way, this is why I don't like to print what other people do, because listen, if Candace says it, I'm sure the provenance is impeccable. But I don't know if it's, you can't get a gun because you're crazy and you buy, that's that red flag thing, which I don't know if I like that, by the way. I don't know if I like that because sometimes there are a lot of people who would need a gun because maybe they were sexually abused or attacked, or maybe they were at war, maybe they have PTSD, maybe they need it for a good reason. Oh, here comes trouble. Oh, here comes trouble. Texas Beach Girl says, Laura Loomer has mental issues and it shows. Wanting horrible things to happen to Candace Owens and her children is not normal. I pray for her. She seems unhinged. One of these days, and I think this is going to be, let me tell you what's going to happen next. You ready? She's going to be late at night, alone. She is going to feel that kind of the anonymity of the devices. She'll feel like, I can say what I want. I can say it. Nobody sees me. Hell, nobody knows I'm here. I can't get arrested. Well, and then somebody, somewhere, I would venture to say, I'm just going to tell you, but if what I would suggest to Candace is you would get somebody to be a part of your security team, somebody who has access, friends in various departments who can pick up a phone and say, can you run some off the record? Yeah. And I want you to pursue something. I want you to look at these, and when you start to get, when those angry statements traverse that level and go beyond and sound threatening and sound dangerous, and when you're on your quote, you are a threat to yourself or others, which is the classic, you may call it 5150 in Florida, they call it the Baker Act, all of these things. Don't be surprised if one day there is a knock at her door and she might be escorted to a facility for evaluations if she doesn't stop this now, because she is teetering. This is not the normal thing. Candace gets angry when people lie, but she never hurts people for kicks. She's all about the truth, nothing more. She lives clean, you can see it. Just watch out when she puts her hair up. Yeah, that's what Colin had said. By the way, Colin, working on him as well. He's going to be a part of the team. You're right though, but there's something about this. I'm telling you what's going to happen. You're going to see this. Somebody somewhere, part of her. I hope she has like a security team or something. Some guy who says, "Let me see this. I'm going to run this by." I've got a friend of mine who's a prosecutor. Let's look at this. It's like, okay, this one does it. Everybody is saying Larry is sleeping with Trump. You know what, my dear friend, my dear, I'm at the stage right now where I don't know what's true. Did any of you, I know it doesn't matter, did any of you believe when Stormy Daniels, Dusty Saddles, whatever the hell her name was, did you ever believe that Trump machine ever, do you believe that? Do you ever believe that? Texas Beach Girl says, I pray for her, she is dangerous. Absolutely. Did any of you ever believe that? And I got into fights with people. I'm saying, wait a minute, first of all, wait. The president was, I don't think it was a president then, it was a long time ago. He might have been, I don't know. But this guy is not exactly a wallflower. And this is a person who was basically a prostitute, who was a porn star. This is a person who decided, who was going through some specific kind of events and all this stuff. I can't believe somebody who is that proficient in that particular art would get that close to him and he says, nah, not her, too dangerous. Remember, McDougal was the other woman. This is a woman who was the Playboy magazine girl. Her story was bought by Pecker. Remember Pecker, who owns the National Enquirer? You never saw her story. I never thought, I said, first of all, I'm not, it doesn't matter, but I would think I would, not, I don't want to say, but I would hope, but I would expect you were that close to somebody, a porn star? You didn't get lucky with a porn star? You know what I mean? Listen, to some people, you have to understand something. I think I told you this. I'm going to tell you again. To some folks, a lot of folks, especially people in power, entertainment, the thing which is there, one of the perks, is all of the new talent, that they come into contact with, which you've got to be crazy if you do this. Renee says, be careful, Mr. L. She'll start on you next. What a sad little person. Start on what? Go ahead. But the thing is that if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm feeling sorry for her. I'm telling her, I'm not putting up her I know you're kind of kidding, sort of, but I'm not putting up her videos, and no, I think she's sad. But what I'm saying is there are people out there in the world who just, they target you. And what Stormy Daniels was, she didn't go after somebody because of the sex or whatever it was. Sometimes people will go after, listen, the worst people, I'm sorry, whether you're Ben Shapiro or you're Candace or anybody, even he will stick to the issues. They might call you an anti-Semite unfairly, but at least it has to do with what you're saying. They don't talk about, other things. You know what I mean? Just like people were talking about Ben Shapiro's height. What difference does that make? People were also talking about Joe Rogan, how short he is. What difference does that make? You can't help that. He was standing behind the president. It was very interesting, though. They said he was talking about these psychedelic drugs, and he was standing behind Trump, and Trump never even looked at him. Okay, fine. You want to go for that stuff? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the vitriol. And imagine, somebody somewhere is going to say, give me that phone. Can you imagine the next one? Because Candace is waiting. Their team is waiting. Let's see it. And if somebody, let's assume, I would imagine, that being one of the most powerful women or people, forget women, in the world, like Candace is, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe somebody like Elon Musk says, I'm sure he has a division where somebody says, let us look at this. When they're saying this has gone a little too far. This is not just enmity. This is not just, you know what I mean? This is crazy. And there are people out there who are really crazy. There's one thing about it. You don't know when somebody gets to the point where they say, I don't have anything. Let me put it this way. There's a lot of things you can say. There are a lot of people I've worked with, and I mean this, if you're honest, look at this. If you're honest, people investigating you don't scare you. Yeah, well, you're right. But you also don't want to be, you don't want to be bothered with people bothering your family. But you're absolutely right. But I've worked with, people on radio and TV. I've never seen anything like this before. There was one that was probably the craziest of them all. I mean, really, really antisocial, very, very, not so much dangerous, but just venomous. Nobody liked this person, nobody. But this is a different story because people are reading this and they're thinking, holy shit, this is not right. Do you know what it's like when you say 32 years old, it's over? Everywhere. Look, people, say what you want. Alex Jones is not crazy. Sorry. Oh, sometimes people will say, well, ex-wives, ex-husbands always say something terrible about you. That's why they're ex. You get that. I got it. I understand this. I understand it. Have you ever seen or been a part of remember, don't ever get in the middle of a divorce with a family member or whatever, or friends of yours. Don't ever do this. But have you ever been with somebody or have a friend of yours, and let's say both the husband and wife were your friends, and one says, let's say it's the wife who says about your friend, the husband, he was a little weird. It's like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. No, I remember years ago somebody told me that. And I heard something, I thought, oh my God, I shouldn't be hearing this. It was about my friend. And I'm thinking, this is stuff that husbands and wives talk about. I don't want to know this stuff. But it was weird. It wasn't illegal, but it was weird. I mean, there's a certain degree of weird, you know what I mean? But think about her life. Who would ever want to be known as the guy or whatever who is with her? I mean, seriously. Tiny Dance, there you go. Dancer, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Who would want to do this? Who would risk it? Do you know what it's like to see 32? You're never going to get hired. Nobody's going to want you. Nobody wants you near them. Trump probably said, that's it, she's through. Maybe she doesn't know it. Maybe it was over a while back. But who's going to be a part of this? Because this is bizarre. You know when somebody says, do me a favor, I don't know who this Larry is. Check out old Larry. See what Larry is. And then they come back with, oh my God, you got to see this news. You're not going to believe what I'm seeing here. You're not going to believe this. This is This is ungodly. This is, oh my God. So where is she going to go? What does she do next? What? Who hires her? Who wants her? Where is the influence? Trump's going to say, beat it. I don't need this. With all that's going on right now with the Middle East and everything else, that's the last one. Get her away. Especially when you've got the most powerful person on the internet focusing on her. It's just unbelievable. Next, I don't want to miss the point. Have you seen the number of people, and forgive me if I have not learned their names yet, but we are seeing such incredible deep dives. Did you see Nisi or Nisi? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Nisi. Anyway, did you see her? As in fact, Candace, she is phenomenally great. Pictures behind. There is also some reference. Did you see how it was Project Constitution, I believe? A gunsmith said that particular Mauser 98 with the safety, the safety has to be turned up, and a scope would prevent you from moving the safety up because it would hit the side of the scope, making it impossible. I mean, there's this one. There's somebody, Candace mentioned Erica's mother, Franz Lori, or her father, somebody was talking about somebody from a gun company that wants to use replaceable barrels, so you have different rifling each time. Think about that. You've got a gun. Take the barrel out, fire it, throw it away, so that if they do a ballistics, if they do the lands and grooves, they'll say, well, that is different than this one because you've changed the barrel. How does all this happen? How is this family so connected in all of this? It's ungodly. And meanwhile, I get the distinct impression that the defense team has gotten in charge of hold of nobody. Maybe I'm wrong. I would have my investigator talk to each person. That I will fly out to see you. I will fly you in to see me. Tell me, Baron. Tell me, Candace. Tell me, Nissy. Tell me, whomever. The most incredible information you have. What do you think is the most important in establishing non-guilt, or that is exculpatory? Tell me what it is. I want to see it. I'll bet you they haven't done that. How can you not? This is the part. He is so not guilty, it's not even funny. It's becoming more and more, and all they're talking about is, we haven't gotten the release. Wait, how do you say this? We haven't received the actual, Candace calls it chain of custody, but it's more of the actual items itself. We're seeing summaries. That's all they're doing is we're seeing summaries of the items that were taken. We can't do anything with a summary. I need for you to tell me what it is. Show me all of it. Give me it in its totality. Brady against Maryland. This is the case. Brady material. You hear it all the time. This is the Supreme Court that says it is reversible error, meaning if you don't do this, they will reverse a conviction if you do not turn over exculpatory information. Bill Parillo says it happens because evil people think of evil things to do. Because evil people think of evil things to do right. Erica. Well, thank you for that. Erica is, by the way, I don't think Erica is evil. Not like this. I think Larry, as you call her, Larry, we'll call her Larry. I think Larry is on another realm. Erica is into me. Erica smelled the blood, the sweet success of the pageant. She has been, there's been a time in her life when they said, you're so attractive. You're so sweet. You know she thinks that. You know she thinks this. She's been told that. That's her thing. She's got that in her. She married the guy. She's got that. She's got her kids. She's got that. She's never lacked that part. She has never lacked confidence when it comes to men. Am I right? Yes. What she wants is something that fulfills her. Men don't fulfill her. They do if they lead to some kind of position of prominence. But that's not what she wants. Laura doesn't have that. I don't know anything about her, but I cannot imagine. I don't think she's ever been married. I don't think she hasn't gotten to that point. So she's 32 years old. And people are constantly mocking her and her face and what she looks like at her. Another thing too is, I'm going to tell you something which I think is it means a lot to me. Maybe not to you, but it does to me. There are some people who don't know how to act. What I mean by that is they don't know how to laugh. They don't know how to engage in conversations. They don't know how to tell a story, act, become amused, because they're never happy. They've not known happy. They don't have humor. They might laugh at somebody because of the way somebody, let's say, looks at somebody and says, ha ha ha. That's not laughter. One of the elements of depression, maybe some of you would know this, is called anhedonia. And anhedonia, from hedonism, anhedonia is when you don't take pleasure in anything. The things you used to like to do, to get up in the morning and read the paper, or go for a walk, or play with your dog, or do gardening, or play with the grandkids, or whatever it is, bake a pie, whatever it was that you do, that you like to do, that makes you happy, they don't have. That's one of the signs of depression, and also some people who are almost born depressed. They don't know happiness. They're not happy. It's not a depression. Depression means there was a moment, and then you were, maybe your serotonin is up or down or whatever. There's an imbalance. But some people are born not able to. They don't know happiness. So because they don't know happiness, it's like they're born depressed. Think about it that way. So because they don't know happiness, they don't know how to convey a being lighthearted. What I'm trying to say is, do you know, listen if you get a chance to a piece that Erica may have done. Shannon, by the way, Shannon to his Alaska says, Larry could quite possibly be inhabited by a demon or evil entity. The behavior is grotesque. Could very well be, except that normally, from what I understand, and thank you, by the way, a demon or a devil or something is directed it broadcasts this hate. It's not one person in particular. If that makes any sense. But I want you to listen to, they used to have this show, I think it was on Rumble, called Loomer, and I listened a couple times. And when she's talking, she does this fake giggle. You can almost time it. And it's almost like saying that President Trump's got to realize that the people who are trying to pay are not going to pay. And then she goes on. It's like there's this forced giggle, smile. It's inappropriate. Somebody must have told her, or she must want to say, I've got to laugh. I've known people on the radio who were so happy, and yet in real life they were completely, devoid of. It's like, who are these people? They went to almost like a school, like sometimes Asperger kids in the old days used to go to movies to see how people act. She doesn't, when she does her thing, it's never lighthearted. There's nothing funny. Never. It's always dour. The world is black. And there's this momentary interjection of a giggle, a forced giggle, a faux giggle, an artificial chortle, a cachinnation, a guffaw, a titter that doesn't fit in. Because this is not a person who's, I think she won somehow. One time she got arrested. I think she was at Twitter or something. She chained herself to something. And we thought, okay, maybe she's, I don't know. But nobody can figure out what she is. You know what I mean? Nobody can. It's very, very sad. By the way, then there's Candace, who laughs, who has a great time. It's never dour. Even when Candace is furious, even when she's talking about her great friend Charlie, even when it's something so sad and so incalculably horrible in terms of the pain it brings her, you don't You don't feel like you're depressed. You know what I mean? It's different. It's there's something there. She'll laugh. She's a human. There's vicissitudinal waves of up and down and the usual stuff. I can't say it any other way. She's very, very sad. But going back, do you know what's going to happen when we and other people start to pick up this momentum? See, in the old days, I'm talking about the case, the Robinson's case. There is during the OJ case, there was no social media, none. You had to go on and say, I wonder what people are thinking. I wonder what people are thinking. I wonder what, I wonder what people are wondering about. I wonder what they, I wonder what black people are thinking. I wonder what and you didn't know. Today we have social media. We have up to the minute by minute, internet trends, who's up, who's down, the numbers. There are people who are new to YouTube, new, who want to be the next whoever to break down cases, deep dive, look at the evidence and the like. Ask yourself this question: who are the new cases who were coming forward in favor of prosecuting Tyler? Who people think, do you know anybody who really thinks, now some people may not know this, but there are no people who thinks Tyler did it. Nobody. Let me say that again. Nobody does. If you don't think he does, you obviously don't know anything about the case. You don't know any of the facts of the case, and you figure, okay, whatever it is. What do you think is going to happen to this prosecution when every day they're saying, are you following this? Now, the prosecutor's got kids. The prosecutor's investigator's got kids. The prosecutor himself, is he running for future office? Is he? Remember, politics changes everything. You've got the judge. You've got the DA or whatever the prosecutor is. A lot of people, they're hearing about this all the time. People are saying, are you aware of all this stuff? Do you know about we heard again about the exploding microphone or the exploding something, that this was a microphone. The second time that it was done, and then there's all kinds of perhaps foreign involvement. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of this? And what's also interesting is that the defense could ask somebody, are you able to tell me under oath, within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that's the line, that none of the fragments found in the body of Charlie Kirk were from non-bullets? Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. Can you tell me they were non-bullets? What do you mean? Well, let's say, for example, that a microphone might have had something in it. Remember, there's a lot of people out there who today, when you want to get somebody, you take beepers and phones and all kinds of stuff, things that a person would put on them, think nothing of it, and detonate that. Bill Parillo says, if the gun doesn't fit, you must acquit. Yes, absolutely. But listen to what I'm saying. Thank you, by the way. Doctor, can you tell me that everything you pulled from Charlie's body, the remains, from C2 to C7 to T1, all of the fragments, all of the shards, all of the elements, all of the debris, all of the broken fragmentation, not frangible, can you tell me that all of them came from what is called a bullet? What a great way. Here's a pin I've got. Here, wear this lapel pin. Put it right there. It's brilliant. Wear this belt buckle. Wear this pin. Here's a pen. Let me have your phone. Everybody has their phone with them, especially when they used to you put your phone up to your face or your ear. I mean, do you think this is far-fetched? And all of a sudden, if a jury hears, what was that? What did he ask him? He asked him right now, did you hear this? Whether he could rule out whether there was another form of projectile or item that was found in Charlie. What do you mean? Oh, I don't know, like a microphone, like something he was wearing, like an article of clothing, like a wallet, like something that somebody that gave him. Jamie Burlington says, Lionel, from the kid that takes the SIM cards to the cement over the crime scene and the tens of thousands of glaring evidence, since I think my 10-year-old can get Tyler not guilty. Jamie, thank you. Jamie, how are you going to get into evidence the SIM cards? How is a jury going to hear about that? How is a jury going to hear that somebody paved over? Oh, I'm going to make sure they do it. I'm going to make sure they hear this myself, because they've got to hear this. But a lot of the stuff that we know, did you see that? Did you see, was it Nisi? Was it Erica? Candace? When you saw what appeared to be Tyler running, I guess. And then there's also pictures of maybe Twiggs himself, Junebug, I keep up with Junebug, Luna, the fuzzy, that he might have been there and he had stuff down his pants. I don't know. What about the gun itself, taking it apart, putting it together? Bill Parillo says, what about the platform they made Charlie sit on? Did you see today, again, this incredible piece that Nisi, by the way, Nisi in law, Nisi Prius, Prius, like the car Prius, it means unless the first. It's the first court. The trial court, whatever your introductory court is called the court at Nisi. Anyway, but did you see all of those camera behind, camera behind, camera behind, camera behind? And all of them had wide shots except this one. What does that mean? What does that mean? How does that spell non-guilt? How does that do it? See, a lawyer thinks differently than what you're doing. You might be able to sit there and say, this is the story of... see, a lot of the things happen, by the way, in JFK and RFK case, and MLK might never have made it in an actual trial. Thank you, UFO. See, but I can ask the question. Dr. So-and-so, yes. Is anything in there? Any. Did you see a picture? This is a picture of Charlie that day. By the way, can you explain how fragments of a bullet can determine the diameter of casing, especially when casing necks vary in size? Well, what's interesting? Yeah, you're asking how can we, it's a good question. How can you say a 30 caliber round or something that was 30 caliber, maybe there was who knows? But a 30 caliber is a 0.30 inch. It's the diameter of the round at its thickest point, right? And it could be anything from a 9mm to a 30-06 to a Springfield this to that. So you don't know. And that's why this Liz Wheeler said, aha, it nailed it. It's like, no, it doesn't nail it. It's within the ballpark. But here's the thing. Dr. So-and-so, expert, when you say that something was consistent with a 30 caliber shell, can you tell me it came from that rifle? No. Can you tell me this one came from that rifle? No. What can you tell me? Can you tell me what? Well, it was consistent with a 30-06. It was consistent with about 20 different other forms of round. Made watermelon smoothies with my M1 Garand and 30-06 cartridges. You are funny. Thank you. So Dr. So-and-so, can you tell me this? No. So why are we even talking about these fragments if you can't put them to the rifle? What if, doctor, I'm going to say something crazy because I'm crazy. I'm crazy. But what if there was another person made to make made to make Tyler look like the shooter, when in fact he wasn't? What about that one? Shannon to Zalaska says, chatter at the White House today says Larry is about to get dumped by Trump. He is not happy about the unhinged Twitter post. P.S. Love you and your content. Keep going, Max. Thank you very much for that. By the way, you know who else is going to be gone? Is Kash Patel. Trump hates this drunken stuff. Hates it. Hates it. He always says his brother Fred, his oldest brother Fred, died of alcoholism. He's he doesn't like this. And you're the head of the FBI, and you're acting like a damn fool, swigging. That wasn't somebody. It's one thing when you're in the back, hey, and you got the Stanley Cup or the gold medal, and hey, this guy was dancing. This is not his first rodeo. He's gone. Pam Bondi, she's gone. Bongina, he's gone. Now and then the Commerce is gone. You see that Democratic Congresswoman, $5 million. She bought a ring, a diamond ring with FEMA stuff. I mean, this is the level of corruption. The level of corruption is out of control. But you're going to sit there and again, let me say this again. Doctor, can you tell me anything linking? This is a lint brush. A lot of similarities to what you found and a lint brush. But this wasn't there either. Can you do anything positively? Lands and grooves? No. Ballistics? No. Admissions? No. Why are you talking about this gun? Why? And the best one today is, as one, I think it was Project Constitution said, here is this rifle. This is and you can show people, get a nice camera, say, all right, folks, you see this little switch? This little safety, to the left is safety. You flip it up to fire it, and then back down for safety. When you flip it up to fire it, guess what's there? The telescopic sight, the scope. You can't even use it. I just found that out today. Reasonable. And I may say, I'm not even going to talk about a gun. If you cannot connect this rifle, I don't want to hear about it. And I want a motion to suppress. Your Honor, I don't want this rifle in at all. I don't want you to mention it. I want a motion in limine to prevent you from even bringing it up because it's not connected. Nothing. You keep talking about this. Well, because of bullshit. If you can't connect it, I don't want to hear about it. What if I had a machine gun, an automatic, something that fired a .30 caliber, maybe that fired 9mm rounds, an Uzi? I had an Uzi. An Uzi can fire .30 caliber round shots. What does that mean? What if there was a bazooka that could fire .30 caliber? Are you going to bring that? So any gun, anything that you find, anything that you say can fire .30 caliber, you're going to bring it up. You're going to try to make a connection, and you're going to tell that jury. You can't do that. There's no connection there. Nothing. Zero. And there's no admission. I keep saying it. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I guess I am. But all this stuff about cementing over doesn't matter. I've got no confession. And wait till Lance takes the stand. Oh, Luna. Lance, what did he tell you? Did he tell you he did this? No, he didn't. And plus, I get to hear all of their prior statements. All of their prior. Lance, did you ever have any training on how to testify? What do you mean? Did you go to that prosecutor's office and they say, let me show you, we're gonna run through this. Kind of like a rehearsal. Objection. What? answer the question. Did you rehearse your testimony? Did any of the prosecutors go over your testimony? Now, going over testimony is not the same as rehearsing. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, did you rehearse it? Yeah. So you knew exactly what you're going to have to say, right? They told you exactly what you had to say, right? Isn't that right? So you knew what was going on. Is that right? You got that? What is he going to say? And please, if it gets to that level, by the way, UFO says, what is shocking to me is the fact that clearly mentally unstable person is advising the White House. Candace Owens should totally ignore her. No, you can't ignore her. You can't ignore her. First of all, the president's going to say, she was not consulting me. Other people say yes. I was listening to Max Blumenthal and Judge Napolitano, and they were both saying that she absolutely responded, basically, what am I trying to say, consulted him. Texas Beach Girl says, Lionel, as a lawyer, is the defense limited to only what the prosecutor brings up? Well, it's a great question. Yes and no. Let me get, Bill says, they don't want voter ID, they don't want fraud investigations, but they want us to believe the FBI. What a joke. Absolutely. That's a great point, by the way. No, Texas, you're right about, no. Your cross-examination cannot go beyond the scope of direct, but you can put on anything you want in your case in chief. And I don't want it to get that way. If this were really, well, at the end of the state's case, when they say we rest, the judge could grant a motion for a judgment of acquittal right off the bat. But it's very rare, if at all. But in the defense's case, remember, you got to ask yourself, am I putting in new evidence or am I picking apart theirs? Let me say this again. Am I bringing up new evidence? New evidence. Now, in the second part, I'm going to get you. And I'm going to get you to be a part of this thing. And I want you to just sit there and let's confuse the shit out of these people. What is this? Well, this is the, I've seen this before. And by the way, we'll have all these great influencers. This is a picture, a video of the screen. And I'm like Jackie Vernon. And this is, you see this right here? This is somebody who's grainy, right? Do we know who that is? We don't know who that is. They won't tell us who that was. Do you ever see this many grainy anything? Cratter says, we have three large dogs and two cats. So I love you. I love that you always have that lint brush ready. Love being able to catch a live show. Keep going. Go, Max. Thank you. Yes. Oh, this is well, now it's my prop. This is my lint brush. Anyway, but thank you for that. I want to show people. This is a video of this. Have you ever seen so many grainy? How many times have you seen so many grainy photos? Really? Why is the only camera over here? Don't you have cameras there? What is that? Who's that supposed to be? I don't know. Here's a picture behind Charlie. And then I bring somebody. This is my best. This is my best. I'm going to say, state your name for the record. And I'm going to get some forensic pathologist. Now, we're going to see a picture. Now, watch this. You see this? This is a picture of Charlie from behind. Now, here is the shot. Notice, you see kind of his arm go like this, maybe his hand go like that. And then, did you ever see the pictures of these people in the front? One guy's mouth looks like Munch, the howl or the shriek or whatever it was. Like Max, he couldn't believe it. And now, doctor, with a 30-06, and you're familiar with this, right? Yes. And you're a hunter, aren't you? Let's say yes. What do you not notice here? What? Zoom in. I don't see an exit wound. You don't see an exit wound. What is the likelihood of this round? And by the way, remember, as it's coming in, it's spinning, and it kind of picks up a little speed, and it picks up a certain swath. And when it hits, based upon that kinetic energy, and I'll show you, we'll show a kind of an experiment. Maybe go to a butcher shop. Because I'm sorry to see this, folks, but this is a pig's head or some kind of. You go to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx and see these heads, and have them look at that, and have them just. I say, now you mean to tell me this gun that they say, assuming the gun comes in, and of course we can't link it, they pick that gun, and nothing happened. Doctor, have you ever seen a 30-06 without an entry wound? No, there's nothing here. I want to be very careful how I say this. If you were to try to remove, using some type of, I can't believe I got to talk like this. It's very easy. Very easy. It's very easy. The only thing keeping up is basically spinal cord right there. Cervical, C2, 3, whatever, right there. That's it. Everything else is nothing. Sinew, muscle, nothing. Very easy. There's nothing to catch. Here is where stuff gets kind of caught. But not here. You saw where this was. It was right here. Remember that? It was there. So, doctor, when it hits, and then what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you this one. Have you ever seen a block of paraffin? Oh, that's a good one. You take a block of paraffin, and it looks like a rectangular solid, and you spread it out. It's a long tube. Looks like almost like a Hebrew national sausage or something, or a salami, but it's like long. And it's clear so you can see it. And here comes this round. And you see this wave of the kinetic, which takes everything, and it causes this percussion, and it just wobbles, and there's and nothing. You know what that does to him? And that jury's going to sit there and say, oh my God. You see some pig's head from some, produce house. Pow. And then you see this long gelatinized piece. Wow. You put this all together and they say, wow. And they're going to walk in there and they're going to say, you see what they want you to do? They're hoping to go, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they just want you to figure this out. They just want you to trust us. Trust us. I got a gun. What do you want? It's the wrong gun. What if it was a bazooka? What if it was a bazooka? Well, they found it there. This is an insult. They never explained this to you. Why do I have to explain this? This I can say in closing argument. Why do I have to do this? I brought my guy. Then, remember Gunnery Sergeant Kevin Trudeau Jr. Remember him? Retired United States Marine Corps. Oh, yeah, Scream by Munch. The famous painting. That's right. Munch or Munch. Anyway, thank you. Imagine if I were to sit there and say, Gunny, yeah, here. What is this? 30-06. Take it apart. You can use one of these. Here's a screwdriver. Take it apart. Can you shove this down your pants? You see that guy on that roof? I don't see any gun or any kind of rifle. They found one down someplace else. So you have to take it apart, right? Can you show us how to do this? And can we time you? And can you put it back together again? And does it work? Then we say, Dr. So-and-so, remember something. When you have a person and you are saying, I need the clothing. I need the clothing. I need his shirt. I need this. I got to do a GSR, kind of a gunshot residue test. He's been arrested for this. There are limited things you can appear in a lineup. You haven't been officially charged per se. But there are ways to preserve as much as possible because we don't even know whether any of this, and by the way, I'm going to bring this up. There was no evidence whether he even shot anything. An officer and doctor, so-and-so, I'm sure you tried to recreate the shot yourself, right? Did you see whether this worked? Did I see where this worked? Did you see whether the rifle works? You found a rifle there. What if the firing pin was wrong, was gone? Did anybody try to fire it? Anybody? No, you didn't try to fire it? How do you know it worked? I'm assuming they did, but these people are such clucks. Because remember, this wasn't supposed to be like this. Remember, he was supposed to say goodbye, cruel world. That's what they were supposed to do. That's what it was. I want you to understand that. It was supposed to be goodbye, cruel world. Remember the second one? It was that second version of, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Well, we changed it the first, like, I'm going to drum myself in. Wait a minute. That's the narrative. And that's why all this stuff, it seems sloppy now because I don't know how, did you have a rehearsal? Did you know he was going to say this? It doesn't make any sense. It's nuts. Boise let guy says, the ATF report says they didn't test fire it. Oh, they did test fire it. Okay, good. And did it work? I mean, remember they test fired it, but what does it tell you? It doesn't match. Test fire a bazooka next. So the thing is that what do we know? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Now, going back, I want you to follow X. I think you know X, right? You know you have X. Do you have X? X is very important. And you've got to make sure that you get to see, you do like I do, and you go to that search and you put in Larry Loomer and you see what they have. And it's like, wow. April the 20th. God hates you, real Candace. It's why he gave Charlie to Erica. And why you didn't even get to say goodbye to him. God hates you. Look in the mirror and internalize how much God hates you. We all hate you. Humanity hates you. And you are irredeemable. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. An hour ago, Project Constitution reads as follows. Exclusive. Trump enraged and ready to cut ties with Laura Loomer after latest X meltdown. By the way, follow him. Project Constitution. Very, very good. Meanwhile, high-level officials push federal investigation. My sources inside the White House, this is from Project, are sounding the alarm. President Trump is not happy after Laura Loomer's latest insane outburst on X. The mood behind closed doors has shifted from tolerance to pure rage. According to a high-level insider, the president was overheard saying that his association with Loomer is now bringing him too much blowback and is actively damaging the administration's standing. The word is Loomer is about to be dumped. Dumped from what? Trump is reportedly preparing to distance himself completely to stop the bleeding. But that's not even the biggest headline. My sources tell me that top-tier officials are now aggressively pushing for Loomer to be investigated for leaked classified information. The allegations, the leak, claims are surfacing that Larry allegedly leaked sensitive information regarding an election office raid in Georgia. The motive? Insiders suggest this was a calculated and backfired move to force a wedge and get Kristi Noem fired. Somebody else perhaps she was jealous of? The fallout, instead of taking down Noem, Larry has reportedly put a bigger target on her own back, with federal eyes now looking into how she obtained the data. Is the ride along over for MAGA's most controversial firebrand? If my source is right, the boiling frog has finally hit the limit, and Trump is ready to hop out. Isn't that fabulous? Now look at this. Larry's latest an hour ago. Democrats are stealing Virginia. Compliments of Barack Hussein. Virginia is about to become uninhabitable. Changing the subject. Changing the subject. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MJT says, the lost demonic soul, Larry, needs Jesus. But the sad reality is that President Trump takes her hate-filled demonic advice on late-night phone calls. And look at his actions. He is raging in war that she and others demand. Hate is murder, and a murderer has no eternal life residing in them. The Apostle John tells us in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Talk about, if you got to quote one that everybody knows, that's it. God does not hate Candace Owens. He loves her dearly. And Jesus died so that even Larry, if she were to repent and believe and walk in obedient faith in Christ, can be forgiven and have eternal life. Wow. 6 hours ago, Jake LaHutt says Tulsi Gabbard has been told by the White House that she has until midterms to pack up and leave, according to sources that he's spoken with. And Tulsi, by the way, never got the chance to do her thing. Never had the chance to do her thing. You see where all this, you see how that's so fascinating. You see where, if you want to find out what's going on in the world, this is up to the day. It tells you exactly when this is coming in. It's a new world now. It's a completely new, totally new world. It is unbelievable. We never had any of this before. We never had any of this in our life. Never. It's fascinating. Now, Tulsi Gabbard never had the chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, I think Tulsi Gabbard was one of the best they have. Tulsi gave the most important response regarding Iran. How many people, how many of you right now, let me ask you, right now, those of you wonderful, great people, right now, yes or no, do you approve of this war, this military action, this whatever you want to call it, against Iran or Iran, the United States against the people of Iran? Yes or no? Are you for this? Do you like what's going on? Does this make sense to you? Do we have enough money laying around to take care of all this? Anybody? Do you understand it? Do you understand it? Do you feel like this is important? Do you feel like, yes, we have to go. We have to go after those people. And if you get a school full of girls, well, what are you going to do? It's their fault. It's not ours. Does this make sense to you? Can somebody please answer the question for me? By what authority does the United States grab a ship from a foreign country? By the way, there's no declaration of war of an Iran, I think it's an Iranian flagship, and seize, it's like $200 million worth of oil was headed for China or Japan. Seize it? That's piracy. It's theft. How do we do this? How do we do this? What's happening? Do you have enough money in your homes, in your hometown? Do you have enough money available for repairs and infrastructures and potholes and schools and public libraries and parks? Do you have enough? What are we doing? What is going on here? And my first advice to the president was saying, listen, you're not listening to me as far as this goes. Okay, fine, that's your prerogative. But the last thing you should be doing is going out and having these crazy people like Larry screw things up. What are you doing? And let me tell you something, J.D. Vance, if you think he's some prize, you're not paying attention. Notice how Marco's laying back. Little Marco's sitting back. He said, I'm not going to get involved in this. J.D., it's all yours, buddy. All yours. And he is making deals with the same people and the same forces because because he's in charge of the RNC, and J.D. Vance has to raise all that money, and he It's more of the same. That's why I hate to tell you, but this year, Grandpa is going to be voting for third party. Von Anken says the U.S. must be banned pro-NATO. And they're not great either. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand any of this. We have nothing. I can't. What was the last war that made sense? World War II? Bill Parillo says, we don't have the authority, but frankly, we've done much worse over the years. Our country is certainly no angel in the thick of it all. Oh, we've done stuff that's saying, my God, we have taken over country. We have overthrown countries like you can't believe. Texas gal Sophia says, thank you for how you elucidate the Kirk investigation. Well, thank you, madam. I appreciate that. There's so much. I mean it. I don't recognize anything. And if I were Susie Wiles, I'm saying, what the hell are we even worrying about this nutcase, this woman? What are we doing? Why is she even here? Why are we even listening to this crazy woman in the first place? What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand it. I don't fit in. Never have. Never have. I'm not a Quaker. I'm not against war. If war makes sense, fine. This doesn't make sense. Nobody gets it. Nobody. Do you really think that Iran poses an existential threat to us? Come on. Nobody does. Stop giving me the, well, they could. It started in 2000, whatever it was, when they were enriching uranium. That is what changed everything. And they could have been contained. Something could have been done without attacking them. I'm not saying let it go. I'm not saying don't, but we don't attack countries that we think are violating either, was it JCPOA or whatever that, the old Iranian deal that even listen, it was better with Barack Obama. But certain folks want Iran off the map. And Trump said, okay. And that's why he came up with this crazy idea of how it's incumbent upon us to do it. Von Anken says, by the way, you can call me Livia if you want. I love this community. Oh, great. Livia, Livia, thank you. Let's say hi to Livia. I don't know. I mean, I whatever your name is, I respect it. I thank you. It's just, isn't Iran suffering from their government? Maybe. It's their business. What do I care? That's their business. Overthrow your government. I don't care. Since when do we care about some other country that we will go in and we will just destroy? Look, I'm not gonna, you're not stupid. You know what's going on. We all know what's going on. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. Come on. They talk about the Persians are being liberated. No, they're not. Oh, they're happy. They want what? What do you think you're going to replace these guys with? Look, you've been through this before. You create a vacuum and you don't know what the new people are. Spandex says no more wars for broccoli. Yes, absolutely. So there we have it, my friends. We are just, there's just so much stuff. So much. But Larry, I'm going to be watching Larry like a hawk. She needs help. She really needs some very serious psychotherapy. She's got to find out what is it that you want? Do you want respect? Do you want fear? But this isn't working. Nobody will need you. Nobody, it's like when Roy Cohn became perceived as a pariah. He was great for a while. Everybody loved him as a lawyer. And then sometimes you go, that's enough. That's enough. And what we're going to need to do is we need to have some new people. We need like a Ron Paul back. We need to have somebody, believe it or not, some lefty types who know about this. Remember, Dennis Kucinich years ago wanted to have a Department of Peace, which is stupid. Now we have a Department of War. I don't understand this. And all these people who claim that they love Jesus and Jesus, what would Jesus do? Jesus would be appalled at the amount of horror that we're seeing. So, my friends, so this week, Thursday, Christine Fecketti, who is just unbelievable. I've got a message in to Colin. We're going to have my good buddy, Sean Atwood from the UK. We're going to do it at noon because he's 5 hours and he can't do 8 o'clock because it's like 1 in the morning for him. I don't blame him. So we'll do a little early. And then Saturday, the one, the only, the inimitable, the ineffable, Mr. Jimmy Dore, and others as well. So we just talk about this. This is so good. And one day, maybe the great Ms. Candace. One never knows. Because I would love to know more about I don't want to argue the issues, because why would I waste my time in talking about something that she already says? I want to talk about things about why people are getting involved. What's your take? And wouldn't you love to know what's behind the scenes? And there's no way you're going to find this out. And let me say to you, by the way, Sean Atwood is dodgy. Hey, that's Mr. Dodgy to you, my friend. He's my friend. And he is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody loves him. Huge, great guy. And I can crack him up like you can't believe. So the Larry thing continues, my friend. The Larry thing continues. And it's not going anywhere. Because Candace has blood in her eye. Remember, Jack Reacher. Remember, you wanted this. Okay, you came after me. Livia, thank you. Thank you for always coming here to talk to us. No, thank you for joining me, for listening to me, for coming into me. No, my thanks to you. No. We did a nice 1 hour and 37 minutes tonight, and I enjoyed it. Straight through. No commercials, no bathrooms, no nothing. Little old me and you. You and me and a dog named Boo. Well, me and you and a dog named Boo. Traveling and living off the land. I like to see some of these radio people try that. No commercials. None. You watch this, this, just me, you and me. It's fun. Keeps me alive. Keeps Grandpa alert. I'm serious. Try doing it. It's fun. I tell people all the time, try doing this. Because even though I'm talking to you, I can't see you. You can't really see me. I mean, I see a thumbnail. That's about it. I got to kind of imagine you. I got to imagine you, and you're watching me, and I can watch you. And plus, I love the way you talk to each other. The way you talk to each other. It's like we're a family. We're a family. I'll bet you some of you have met each other. You probably have exchanged numbers. Maybe you talk to each other. Who knows? We might even have wouldn't it be great if we had a wedding? And by the way, I'm a Church of the Universalist Church. I got my diploma right over there. Got my diploma. My certificate. So I'll marry you. Wouldn't that be great? One of us? Wouldn't that be something? You know what I really love to do? Wouldn't you love to be in a tent, like some place, some equidistant? We show up and we see our name tag. Because we don't know. Well, yep, that's me. You're Livia. You're Sparky. It would, after a while, Barron goes 4 hours, and how he does it, I have no earthly idea. How that man, he is nothing but respect for him. He's an animal, an Iron Man. He's the Lou Gehrig of this. All right, my friend, look at this. What's Candace's problem? What's your problem? Are you locked in a straitjacket with Candace? Do you really not know anything about the evidence? Your ship is sinking like the Titanic. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for the very kind words. And thank you for spelling in capital letters. Class, let's thank Wendy. Thank you. Only Wendy comes here. But you know what? Wendy, by the way, Wendy, you might want to try Larry. Larry wants to talk to you. You're a good person, Wendy. Deep down inside somewhere, there's something about you that's good. And I will always see good in you. And I welcome you. All right, my friends. Have a great and a glorious day. God love you. We're going to talk to Mrs. L. She's going to be, I got to pick her up later. She's coming in from D.C. She's been up all day. Wait till you hear what she's been through. And she has met with these incredible family. I'm telling you, I'm so proud of her. I love her. Please follow her at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. She is just, you should see pictures of her walking. She sent me a video. She's walking down a hallway in D.C. and there's nobody there. It's like empty. They're not, it's like COVID empty. It's like, what did these people do? Where are they? They're miserable. Okay? All right, my friends, we love you. Have a great and glorious day. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And until we meet again, remember, this is Grandpa talking. It's Grandpa talking, saying the monkey's dead. Show's over, sue you. Ta-ta.